So guys, that's it. We've reached the end of the 2020 season. Now, to call it crazy, I don't think would even do it justice, to be honest. It's been brilliant, it's been terrible, it's been everywhere in between, and it's just been a mad year, full stop. But as much as the teams are going into hibernation, I am not. I am still right here, and we're going to kick off a whole bunch of great content. And today, boys and girls, I've got a very special video. It's the saucy one. It's the spicy one that I make at the end of every single season since I've had my channel. It's my top 5 best drivers of 2020. Now, my top 5 worst drivers is going to be in my next video, and that one's always controversial, so yeah, look forward to that one. But anyway, guys, today we are going to be looking at the top 5 best drivers according to me. And of course, guys, don't forget, disclaimer alert, this is just my opinion. So yeah, let me know your actually top 5 in the comments box below. I cannot wait to see what you guys think. So yeah, we're just going to jump straight into it, to be honest, guys. And also don't forget, if you do enjoy the content on my channel, then don't forget to drop a like, smash that subscribe button. We're on the road to 100k. So yeah, looking forward to that. But anyway, guys, enough of all of that shenanigans. Let's get into my top 5 drivers of 2020. Now, guys, actually, before we do jump into the top 5, I have to give an honorable mention to the one driver that missed out on my top 5. It was so tricky. I was going backwards and forwards, but this guy just missed out. But I really did want to give him a shout out anyway. So the honorable mention will go to Charles Leclerc. Now, controversially, he will not make my top 5. The reason why he just misses out on my top 5 is because as good as he's been, he has made some mistakes as well, like crashing into the back of his teammate in Styria, I think, crashing into the back of Lance Stroll in Russia, crashing into the back of Sergio Perez in Sakhir, and the fact that he missed out on a podium by going wide at the Turkish Grand Prix in the final lap. So, he's been amazing, no doubt. He just missed out on my top 5, but the reason why he misses out is because of some of those really key mistakes. But nevertheless, shout out to Charles Leclerc. He is my honorable mention. But now, guys, let's jump in to the top 5. So, first up, in number 5, we've got Pierre Gasly. Now, wow, I mean, what a season this guy has had. Now, I'll put some stats on one of the sides of the screen. I'm not going to hedge my bets because I have no clue where it's going to be. I always get it wrong. But I'm going to put a few stats on one of the sides of the screen. Now, most of them are going to be pretty self-explanatory. You can kind of see them for yourselves. But in terms of the ones that might need a little bit of explanation, I've got, obviously the points and the wins are pretty self-explanatory. In terms of the percentage of points, that is in terms of how many points they scored compared to their entire team. So, what percentage of points did they score for their team? In terms of the teammate head-to-head, now some of these numbers will not match 17 races because I've took my data from Karun Chandhok, and the reason why I did that is because I really like what Karun has done in terms of the teammate head-to-head. Certainly in qualifying, he's actually took out some of the sessions and the races, or the qualifying sessions, where one of the drivers had a problem. So for example, officially, obviously, Lando Norris won against Carlos Sainz in terms of the quali battle, but Karun Chandhok has not included Bahrain because Carlos Sainz has had a problem. So it kind of evens everything out as much as possible. It's always really difficult, and obviously depending who you go to, everyone's going to have different numbers. But yeah, that's where I'm getting my numbers because I really like the way Karun has done it. So yeah, that's where I'm getting my data from. And also when it says DNFs and DNSs, the reason why I've combined both did not finishes and did not starts is because in 2020 we had some drivers that had to miss races due to COVID. So yeah, just 2020 things. But other than that, all of the stats are pretty self-explanatory and they'll be on the screen when I'm talking about the drivers. But anyway, enough of the explanation. Now let's get on to Pierre Gasly. So why do I have him in 5th place? Well, I mean, he has had just an amazing season, there's no doubt about it. As I said a little bit earlier, it's the fact that he had such a difficult 2019 why I've been so surprised and so happy to see him bounce back at AlphaTauri. Clearly an environment and a car that he is much more comfortable with, and I think, with experience, he has improved over the course of, his 3-4 year career. So yeah, I mean, this has definitely easily been his best season in Formula 1, and I mean, come on, that win in Monza, I do get the fact that, it was kind of handed to him, the fact that he was kind of put in that position, but he still had to hold Carlos Sainz off, and it wasn't just the win that kind of makes me put him on this list. It's just his consistency. Whenever I was looking at the end of races, he was always just there in those really good point scoring positions, and his consistency has been really good. He's had a few DNFs as well, a little bit of reliability issues, but overall, I mean, it's just the story, the bounce back, the incredible kind of feel good factor that Pierre's had, and hopefully this does continue. What's going to happen with him in the future in terms of the whole Red Bull family? Is he going to have to move out? I do think that we're going to see him in his final season at AlphaTauri, but nevertheless, over the course of 2020, he has done so much to restore his kind of reputation as a driver, and he has proven a lot of people wrong, and yeah, he is number 5 on my list. Incredible 2020, and I cannot wait to see what he's going to do in 2021. Now, next on my list in number 4, I've got Daniel Ricciardo. Ricky Bobby, the last of the late breakers, the honey badger himself. Now, in terms of Daniel Ricciardo's season, I did a video about him actually quite recently, and I'm going to reiterate what I said in that video. I feel like his season and him as a driver, I think he's really flied under the radar in 2020. We've been kind of talking about Pierre and Charles and also the 2 McLarens as well and what's been happening at Racing Point. And we forget that Daniel Ricciardo has been ridiculously good in 2020. He has been ultra consistent and he finished, 5th in the championship, ahead of both of the McLaren boys, ahead of Lance Stroll and Charles Leclerc as well, and Alexander Albon. So he has just had an amazing season, scoring, 65% of the team's points, and he thoroughly dominated his teammate Esteban Ocon, certainly in qualifying, 15-2 with an average of 0.2 between them. So yeah, certainly when you look at the stats, I mean, Daniel Ricciardo has just smashed it. Again, he's led the team. There's no doubt that Renault at the beginning of 2020, they didn't quite start off on the front foot, and then they kind of picked up over the course of the season. I feel like what's been tricky for Daniel is not having that solid number 2 to back him up. Esteban Ocon has been kind of hot and cold, and he's also had reliability issues as well. It's not like the McLaren team where, Carlos and Lando have really kind of backed each other and they're always just really close, which is great. That is exactly what you want, and that is why they got best of the rest in the Constructors' Championship. Daniel has had to lead the team. He's had to use all of his knowledge and experience and, of course, his speed as well, and that's exactly what he's done. But again, other than the 2 kind of big podiums that he had in Imola and the Eiffel Grand Prix, where, of course, it was, of course, the first kind of podiums for Renault, which was absolutely huge for the team. So, yeah, massive congrats to them. Again, I feel like his season and him as a driver, he's really just kind of flown under the radar, not kind of getting the same kind of media attention, but that's okay for Daniel Ricciardo because he's just been absolutely smashing it, and he thoroughly deserves a spot on my list of the top 5 drivers. So, yeah, in 4th, I have Daniel Ricciardo. So, we are now into the top 3, and guys, let me be brutally honest with you. It was so difficult to choose between these 3 drivers, and to be honest, in my opinion, you could put them in any order you want, and that would be absolutely fine by me. They've all been absolutely just A1 this year. However, this is my list, and in 3rd place, I've got Max Verstappen. Maximilian Verstappen. Now, he has had an absolutely unbelievable 2020. I mean, I'm looking at the stats here, and the 2 kind of really big ones that jump out for me is, first of all, his championship position and his DNFs, because he is 3rd in the championship, and he was unbelievably close to Bottas. He was unbelievably close to beating Valtteri Bottas in a Mercedes to get 2nd in the Drivers' Championship. And to be honest, I think that's what probably would have bumped him up to maybe even 1st. But 5 DNFs over the course of 2020 compared to Bottas's 1. So legitimately, Max Verstappen could have had a chance to be 2nd in the Drivers' Championship with Bottas being in a Mercedes. I mean, that is just nuts. Max has been absolutely ridiculous. And the one thing I do have on my notes, if you take away the Turkish Grand Prix kind of out of his season, in every single race that Max Verstappen has finished in 2020, he has been on the podium. In every single race except from Turkey. That is nuts. I mean, yeah, he has been phenomenal. In terms of his teammate, he is just, I don't know if the word dominate is even kind of like good enough, because 17-0 in terms of qualifying. He whitewashed Alexander Albon with the largest qualifying gap on the entire field of just under 0.6. So, what do you say about this guy? I mean, obviously he has his critics, and Red Bull also have their critics, and that's something I'm going to get into in a later video. But in terms of Max, in terms of his 2020 season, the only reason I've kind of marked him down is that 1 Turkish Grand Prix. It was really a scrappy race. It was his race to lose. I feel like he had the best car all weekend, and he just kind of, it just didn't come together. So that's the reason why he's in 3rd place. But other than that, it's flawless. Take Turkey out of his 2020 season, he's been absolutely flawless. He's been the only man that was able to match Lewis Hamilton over the course of the season, and Red Bull, oh my god, just give this guy a bloody good car for 2021. I'm sick and tired of this, and again, it's going to be something that I'm going to talk about later on. But in terms of Max, he just needs that car. He's reached that peak of just experience, speed, everything. He's got it. He's absolutely got it, and 2020 has certainly shown that once again. So again, in terms of his season, the 2 wins, 11 podiums, that 1 pole position in Abu Dhabi, that was a really big surprise to me. He's absolutely smashed it. The only man that can even think about challenging Lewis Hamilton over the course of the season. And please, for the love of God, Red Bull, give this guy a good car in 2021. I'm sick and tired of Red Bull, for the past, what has it been, 7 years not being able to produce a championship competing car. So yeah, but other, Red Bull aside, that 1 bad race in Turkey aside, Max has been flawless, and he thoroughly deserves a spot in 3rd place. So now we are in to the top 2, and again, it was so difficult to kind of, separate these guys, but in 2nd place, the 7-time world champion Lewis Hamilton. Now, Again, you know, the stats are on the screen, guys. He's a 7-time world champion, 11 wins, 14 podiums, over 60% of his team's points. It was a lot closer between him and Valtteri in terms of qualifying. That's something that, you know, Valtteri, you know, definitely does not get enough credit for. Only about a 10th between them over the course of the entire season. So, yeah, not too bad, you know, for Valtteri there. But Lewis, of course, even missing one race in Sakir, he's still dominated, let's be honest. I saw a stat somewhere, and I think it is actually true, that Lewis Hamilton single-handedly has outscored Red Bull by himself. He's been absolutely phenomenal. The only thing that you can put against this season is that one little incident with Alexander Albon in the first race of the season, and also I think he had like a yellow flags, kind of a grid penalty for yellow flags in that first race as well. But that's pretty much it. You know, he's been as close to flawless, kind of similar to Max as well. It's been him and Max, I've said it all season long, you know, fighting up front, and I cannot wait to see these two guys, you know, being able to fight for titles together. Mercedes once again knocked it out of the bloody park with that car, giving Lewis Hamilton the right equipment. And does Lewis Hamilton, you know, does he waste it? Absolutely not. He's been banging out race wins, he's been banging out podiums, he's been banging out pole positions, and he's dominated yet again. I can't say a single bad word about Lewis Hamilton. Also, obviously, some of the off-track stuff as well, he's been kind of a big leader towards that as well. So, you know, that doesn't go into the list, but it's certainly something that I love about Lewis Hamilton, and it's just another Lewis season. You know, obviously, we're looking towards the other teams to try and mount a challenge, but when you have Mercedes at the top of their game, when you have Lewis Hamilton also at the top of his game, winning his 7th world title and winning the Turkish Grand Prix with performances like that in, you know, in the wet, it's been a stellar season from the 7-time world champion. What do you want me to say? In my opinion, he is number 2 on my list. He just is edged out by someone else, but it's been another stellar season for Lewis Hamilton. I don't think it's kind of the best season of his career. I've actually made a video about that, so definitely go check it out, but it definitely is going to be high on the list. He was almost as close to flawless as you can get, and yeah, Lewis Hamilton is in 2nd place. So we now get to my best driver of 2020, and I am sure you guys can guess who it is. It's the guy who is currently waiting by his phone for Red Bull as I'm recording this video right now. It is Sergio Perez. Now, honestly, I'm so happy. I'm so happy for Sergio, regardless of what happens with the whole Red Bull situation, and this is not what this video is about. He has shown what I've been saying for years. I've been saying this for bloody years. Sergio Perez is one of the best drivers on the grid. He's so dependable, he is so consistent, and yeah, I still can't believe that he is actually jobless for 2021 as of time of recording. In terms of his season, 4th in the Drivers' Championship, a career high, 125 points, a career high, 1 win. Oh my god. Do you know what, as bad as it was seeing George Russell have a horrible weekend, I felt so happy for Sergio Perez, and do you know what, I would have took Sergio Perez winning over George Russell, because at the end of the day, you know, George has got another 10 plus years in Formula 1, and to see Sergio, you know, potentially end his Formula 1 career on a high, scoring 64% of his team's points. That was a big surprise, actually. And something else I've got in my notes, by the way, in terms of his actual season, and by the way, which he missed 2 races due to COVID. So, I mean, to finish that high and still miss 2 races is absolutely incredible. And the one thing I do want to say is that Sergio Perez is the only other driver, along with Lewis Hamilton and Max Verstappen, the other guys in the top 3, that has scored points in every single race he has finished. He has scored points in every single race he has finished. Only Max Verstappen and Lewis Hamilton have done the same. And I mean, what else do I say about this guy? I've been banging on for years. He took, you know, he was given this car at the start of 2020, a great car, no doubt, and he absolutely grabbed it with both hands. And the second half of the season for him has been absolutely superb. You know, whatever challenges you put to Sergio Perez, you know, do X amount of laps on his tires, no problem. He can do that. He is incredible at managing tires. He is incredibly consistent. Knock him to the back of the grid, no problem, mate. He would just win the race from back there, because that is exactly what he did at Sakir. He is just, yeah, he's just brilliant. He's just perfect. He is just the driver's driver. You know, I've always said that he doesn't have this massive personality. He doesn't have this massive media following like some of the other guys on the grid, but he's just a bloody good driver. And at the end of the day, Formula 1 and motorsport is honest stopwatch. That is the only thing that matters. That is the only thing that separates the drivers at the end of the day on track. And Sergio Perez has been a class act from start to finish. Again, the only thing I can say is I still can't believe he's actually not going to be in Formula 1 next year, potentially. But, you know, Sergio Perez, you know, even if you're not in Formula 1, don't worry, you're going to take another W, because you are my 2020 driver of the season. You've been the best, and, you know, regardless of whether he's in Formula 1 or not, I just want to say big thank you to Sergio Perez. This is not some kind of pity, you know, oh, Sergio Perez is leaving, so I'm going to put him number 1. He has been the class of the field. He has been, in my opinion, absolutely flawless. I don't remember a single race where I think, wow, Sergio Perez, you know, he wasn't quite there. Maybe one blue flag incident where he got a penalty, I remember, in Spain. Other than that, he has been absolutely phenomenal, and he thoroughly deserves the number 1 spot on my list as my best driver on 2020. Sergio Perez, hats off to you, my man. Well, guys, there you go. That is my top 5 drivers of 2020. Now, let me know your top 5 and your thoughts in the comments box below, because I'm sure there's loads of people that are going to be like, oh, you know, I can't believe you didn't put this driver in. How dare you? So let me know your top 5, guys. I cannot wait to see what you guys think. I always love to see kind of your top 5 and your lists. You know, maybe you think that Sergio Perez, Lewis Hamilton, and Max Verstappen don't belong anywhere near the top 3. But yeah, if you do, then let me know. But anyway, guys, there you go. I'm going to wrap the video up here. Now, if you did enjoy this video, then don't forget to drop a like, smash that subscribe button, and don't forget to check out my social medias. Instagram and Twitter will be above, and also keep an eye out for my next video, which is going to be my top 5 worst drivers of 2020. That is going to be controversial, because it always is. So yeah, keep an eye out for that. And anyway, guys, I will see you then. Bye, guys.